In my personal opinion, I think the one biggest reason why relationships nowadays don't work out is because of selfishness. That's it, selfishness. Thank you for watching this video. No, but seriously, like that's to me, everything kind of boils down to selfishness. Like, yeah, there are other problems, but to me, it ultimately boils down to selfishness. And I believe that is the main reason why nowadays relationships don't work. Now, granted, it's not just relationships nowadays, because relationships have not worked plenty of times in the past because of selfishness, but it seems like, because social media and a lot of things like talk about why relationships not working and why come it's like selfishness. Social media, I think, has plays a part, because everybody thinks they can do better and get somebody else and the grass is always greener. That's selfishness. That's a form of selfishness. But really what brought this on, because I've been thinking about this for a while, because like relationships and stuff interest me. But what really brought this on and what we're going to talk about is because I saw a post on, YouTube sometimes they'll do like channel posts or whatever post. And it was a post where somebody talked about how their grandmother back in the day went to their grandfather's funeral. And that's how like they ended up getting together, because she just went to his funeral or random funeral or whatever. And basically in one of the comments, one of the guys was talking about how basically he was like, I really need a woman in my life. It was basically, this guy was basically like, oh, dating's kind of wild back then. And some guy was like, yeah, I really need a woman. I'm 36, homeless, depressed and lonely, and I need a woman in my life. And pretty much most of the comments were kind of like, maybe you should, focus on like getting a house first, or getting a better job or whatever, like getting a job. And basically this guy was just arguing with like it had like 136 replies. And basically this guy was just arguing with a bunch of people who he basically thought him getting a girlfriend would solve all his problems. And it was just crazy to me, because like a lot, like people were giving him like genuine advice, like, hey man, maybe focus on yourself, because the very first comment was just like, maybe focus on yourself first, focus on getting a house first before you try to get in a relationship. And the dude was like, no, a girlfriend is, I need a woman. That's what's going to help me. And somebody was like, maybe you should try Jesus. God, no, that never helped me. That didn't work for me. And like, it was interesting, because I was thinking, like, I'm looking at all these replies. And I'm like, well, why would a woman even want to date you? That's what I'm thinking. It's like somebody literally said in the comments, somebody was like, I'm not trying to be mean, but what would be the benefit of dating you? Why would a woman want to date you? You just said you're homeless, you're depressed and sad, and you're lonely, you're unmotivated. There's no benefit to really wanting to date you. Maybe you should focus on yourself first and trying to become a better person, and then try to get a relationship. You know what this man said? Nah, if I get a woman, I will be a better person, because I won't be depressed and lonely. And it's just like, no matter what anybody said to this man, he just didn't listen. And like reading these comments, like I was like annoyed, because I was like, bro, you sound like a whiny baby. Like, shut up. Because even somebody said, no woman's going to magically just come in your life and fix all your problems, right? But like the more I kept reading, the more I was like, nah, that dude's delusional. He ain't really trying to hear what nobody had to say. And then I said, bro, you're what's wrong with relationships nowadays. Not because of your situation of like what you want, the fact that you want a woman, and the fact that you're homeless or whatever. It's the whole time I'm looking, I'm just like the dude said, what's the benefit of dating? Not one time in any of the replies have you listed a benefit of what would be good for the woman if she dated you. Not one time. All you're saying is, oh, I need a woman. She needs to be there for me, and she needs to do this for me, and she needs to be with me because I don't want to be alone. It's all about me, I. I honestly think that's the biggest problem with relationships. Everybody's always focused on me, I. And I don't think focusing on you or yourself in what your needs are, that's not a bad thing. The problem is when you're too focused on that, and that's all you think about is your needs. And that's why I think relationships fail, because men out here are like, women, if I get in a relationship, they better cook for me and clean for me, and they better have sex. Women out here talking about dudes better take me on a date, and they better not be out of Cheesecake Factory, better buy me stuff, they better get me this and get me that. And everybody's just looking at the other sex like, this, what can you do for me? Just point the finger, you better be able to do this for me. You better be able to do this for me. And it's just like, nobody's thinking, hey man, I want to be able to do this for my partner. I'm not gonna say nobody, but a lot of people aren't. I would say that's not the majority of what's going on social media. Now, for me, because I be on Instagram and I like watching positive stuff, a lot of relationship stuff I personally see on my Instagram is more positive and talking about like what I can do for my partner. But I would say in general, like if I ever see the explore page and stuff that comes up, no, that's usually not what's. It's everybody's like, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? What are you doing for me? And it's just like that's why relationships are failing, because I think if people had more of a servant mindset of what can I do to make my partner's life easier? What can I do to help my partner? What can I do? How can I love my partner? Show that my partner, I love them. I feel like relationships would be a lot more successful, and both people have to do it, because it seems like in a relationship, majority of the times, like they fail because either both people are selfish or one person's selfish. And usually it usually doesn't, from what I've seen, it doesn't start off with both people being selfish. Usually it starts off with one person being selfish and the other person being selfless. And that person is just being selfish to the point where the other partner eventually becomes selfish too, and then it just doesn't work out. And I'm like, no, if both people were selfless and more servant based and being like, hey man, let's see, what can I do to make my partner? Because I know for me, ultimately, like I want to get married. Like I want my partner to be like, yeah, like I want to be able to provide for my partner. I want my partner to like hanging around me. I want to be able to give my partner comfort and stability and advice when they need it, and help them when they need it. Like I want to be there for my partner. There's a lot of things I want to do for my partner, right? And do I have my own needs? Yes. I'm not saying don't ever focus on your needs, because honestly, in order to be in a sexual relationship, you're going to need to know like what you need to make you feel valued in a relationship and how you feel loved. But literally, I'm thinking like, what can I do for my partner? How can I do this for my partner? How can I show up for her? You know, when I get one, how can I make her feel comforted? Like, there's a lot of things I want to do. And so I feel like if people had more of that mentality of what can I do for my partner? And because I hear on social media, like when you ask like, women, oh, what do you bring to the table? They're like, oh, I got good vagina. I'm just like, and a lot of men, I mean, I'm not saying like having sex or whatever isn't important, but a lot of men date, and you'll hear a lot of men is like, okay, but I don't want just that. I want comfort. I want support. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the men and the women. Like a lot of times you ask women, what do you want in a partner? They're like, oh, I want a man that can lead. I want a man that can protect me. I want a man that provides. There's not like, oh, I want a man that's emotionally intelligent. Because sometimes men will be like, oh, well, I can provide money. Okay, women's like, okay, but are you emotionally intelligent? Are you nice? Are you comforting? Can you talk to me can you listen to my problems? Those are important things. And so for everybody, it's different. I would say there's some basic things that people obviously want, like respect and love, but like for everybody, it's a little bit different. And I'm about to go on my Christian rant. So if you don't want to hear, about me talking about Christianity or whatever, you can skip to the timestamp. But especially as Christians, like I believe us men should definitely be the ones to show that first. Everybody likes reading and quoting Ephesians 5:22-23, usually for like different things. So the men will be like, oh, women, you're supposed to submit to us, because it says wives submit to your husbands, even though you could also read that as wives to respect your husbands. But yeah, it says wives, not girlfriends. Just like it says, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. Husbands, not boyfriends. But like, I do agree with those verses. Like for me, I believe like each gender has its own role or its own purpose that they have. And I'm like, yeah, quoting those is good, all good and well or whatever. But a lot of people quote those things when they're trying to use it as an argument against the opposite gender. But they don't quote it when they're trying to, use it for an argument for their own gender. Because I do agree, wives should submit to their husbands or respect their husbands as they do in the Lord. Husbands should love their wives like Christ loved the church. And I would say all my fellow Christians, y'all should read those verses a lot more to really and look at the context of it, because it's really good. But I believe as men, we should be doing that first, because we're supposed to be the heads of the relationship. And so I definitely believe that as men, we should be showing attributes of being a husband and giving first. I mean, even the way our bodies are created, like we have penises, like we're literally made to give, and women have wombs and vaginas, they're made to receive. And I believe we should be showing first, like the whole showing being loving and protecting, kind of basically showing attributes of being a husband. And you show attributes to your girlfriend or whatever, because basically I've heard people like, oh, don't do girlfriend things for somebody that's not your husband, or don't do, boyfriend things somebody's not your wife. But I'm just like, Well, how is that person supposed to know you basically are a future husband and wife if you don't show them attributes? Like, I understand the whole purpose of that phrase is basically don't have sex, right? Or if you're a man, like, don't be buying stuff for women or whatever, buying expensive stuff for women. But like, you should actually be doing attributes. Like, as a man, you should be showing that you have the ability to lead, you have the ability to provide, you have the ability to listen and problem solve. As a woman, I believe, she should be showing the ability that she has the ability to comfort you, and she has the ability to nurture and also listen to your problems as well. Like, each partner should be basically catering and trying to help the other partner. And obviously, you should be, you should understand yourself to the point where you should be like, okay, these are my needs, and are my needs getting met? This is why I said it's still important to understand your needs. That's why I'm never going to be like, oh, don't understand, don't worry about your needs. No, you should, because my thing is, you should be looking at your partner as, okay, like, I'm doing my part. I'm trying to help my partner doing her needs, and then listening to him or her, depending on what it is. But also, are my needs being met? This is why you got to know yourself and my needs being met. And if your needs are not being met, express that, because some people do not do that. They think the partner should read their mind. I'm like, listen, unless you've been married for like 10, 20 years, no, you can't tell somebody, oh, I've been dating for 6 months, they should know how I feel. I've been dating for a year. No, because you're still figuring each other out. No, express your needs. I can't say that enough. Express your needs. So if you've expressed your needs, and that person's making an effort to love you based on the way you express your needs, you're going to have patience. Now, it's different if you're expressing your needs and that person's not loving you. You've already expressed, like, hey, I need love like this, I need space like this, or I need this, and the person's just like, I'm not doing that. Then yeah, obviously you should get out that relationship. That's the point where you should break that off, because it's like, okay, well, I'm doing my part and I've expressed my needs, and you don't want to do those needs, and there's no point of us being in a relationship together, because that person's being selfish. But like I said earlier, I believe if people were less selfish and more selfless, their relationships probably wouldn't be failing as much. But everybody's too worried about me, I. And I think social media definitely plays a role in that, because everybody just looks at social media in an app. They can just swipe, be like, oh, this person looks good. Everybody's kind of shallow too. Because I'm like, looks matter, but everybody's so shallow where it's like, oh, this person looks good. This person, I say, yeah, but that person looks good, but they're rotten on the inside. So, it's almost like, would you rather have somebody that's a 10 out of 10, but the personality is horrible? Or would you rather have somebody that's like, I don't know, a 7 or 8, but their personality is banger? You know what I mean? So personally, I'd rather have somebody that's like a 7 or 8, because a 7 or 8, they still look freaking beautiful. They're just not maybe super model gorgeous, but their personality is great. I'd rather be around somebody like that. But yeah, I don't know. People should just stop being selfish out here and stop always worrying about me, I. And then relationships will be more successful. Okay, peace.